Hello everyone, I'm the Grim Reader, and thank you so much for returning. I know I haven't been posting video for too long, for very long now, but yeah, I've just been very busy. Today, I'm back with new stories, personal horror stories, paranormal, parallel, and glitch in the Matrix. The first story I want to tell is something that happened years ago now. I kinda forgot about it, but I questioned it, of course, at the time, but I just somehow forgot about it. The other day, I think it was yesterday, I heard a story about a man who lost his oregano. And if you don't know what that is, it's something to put in your food. It's herb and spices in a little bottle. And the story went that he looked in his cabinet where it was, but it disappeared. He asked his girlfriend, but she didn't take it. Then he went to the store to buy some new one, and then, the next day, of course. But then when he came home, he saw that he had 2 bottles of oregano. And I know that sounds a bit boring, but I thought it was very fascinating, because I was making food some evening, and I was using a tool. I think it's called a pallet knife. Anyway, I was using it and I turned around and put it in the sink. But it was not. Then I turned around at the food, at the stove, and I had to turn like 45 degrees, I think. And then I found out I have to use it again, so I turned around to take it, but it was gone. It was like completely vanished. And I was thinking to myself, man, what the frick is going on? Maybe that ghost is out playing tricks on me again. Because in our old house we had a ghost, but it liked to taunt us and tease us and all that stuff, playing small pranks on us. But so I thought that what it was doing again. So I turned around to the stove to see if I have misplaced it or I remember wrong. But as I was thinking about it, I was like, no, I definitely put it in the sink. So I turned around to look at the sink, and it was still not there. I couldn't understand it. Then I turned around to the stove and I was like, you know what, screw that, I don't need it. But right there, beside one of the pots on the stove, there it was. The plastic pallet knife I was looking for. I was a little dumbfounded. I remember looking at it, I was like, what the hell? How did it get from the sink to here without me ever touching it? I thought it was very creepy. I told my wife about it, and she was like, damn, that's spooky. She believed in the paranormal as well, so you don't remember that. Now, that was story number 1. Story number 2. My wife and I lived in this beautiful big house. I can't remember if I said that before, but if I haven't, now you know. And every time we're in the bathroom, and the window is open, we can hear sounds outside. Some of them are, of course, nature sounds or animals or just the wind blowing, but sometimes there are different sounds as well. Sounds like people are walking or stuff being shuffling, or it's very hard to describe, but it's like somebody is outside when there's literally nobody outside. Because every time we hear that noise, we look out the window and there's nothing. But we can hear it just perfectly. Just perfect. Anyway, the first time my wife, she heard it, she told me about it, and she's like, I keep hearing stuff. I was like, okay, that's weird, I haven't heard anything. Well, there was a time I think it was 2 days after that, I was in the bathroom. Then I started hearing the noises. And first I was like, maybe you're just hearing the noises because she told you about it. I tried to ignore it and it's like, man, there's nothing there. But I keep hearing it. Over and over. I just, to the point I had to look. And of course there was nothing. So, I don't know if we have ghosts outside. Or if it's a little dimension to another world where we can hear people talking. Or, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't say they talk all the time. But we have heard some voices. And it's more like shuffling or footsteps, and we had heard voices, but it was inaudible. You could not hear what they were saying. We hear from time to time still. This happened like 1.5 year ago, I think, but we keep still hearing them. Now, story number 3. And this one happened when I was out walking with my wife. We were in the woods, and I never told this one to anyone. Well, my wife and I told my wife's mother about it, and she was dumbfounded as well. It's normal. Where we live very close to the woods, and it's very normal for people to go in the woods and have a good time and something like that. But the place we were walking, nobody was around. We were the only one in the woods at that time. And we were walking on small paths and big paths, and we have been there before. And we actually once came across a lake we didn't know existed. But we came across that lake again this time, and nothing unusual. But when we walked down a small path we have walked many times before, sorry, we started to hear voices, embodied voices, which means voices without a body. There was no one around. Trust me, we were looking and searching and nothing. We could hear, it was like a group of people, could have been teenagers or early 20s, young people anyway. Or maybe my wife and my age. But still, it was a large group of people. We could hear them. They were kind of in the distance, but still close, you know. We continued to walk. I heard it and I was like, am I hearing right or am I just hearing things? Maybe I should say something. No, my wife doesn't believe me. I firmly believe it was from another universe. The minute I heard the voice, I knew it was not from this world because it made no sense whatsoever. Well, my wife likes to make flower bouquets, and she was picking some green stuff to her bouquets, and the voice came again. And I asked her, can you hear that? Or is it just me? Because I was thinking, if she doesn't hear it, then I'm going crazy. But she said, no. She couldn't hear a damn thing. I mean, she said yes. Sorry. She said yes. She could actually hear it. She turned to me and said, I thought it was only me. I thought it was the trees. The wind. Well, you have some big trees and they are kind of close, so the wind, when it's coming a little bit hard, then it would make a noise in the trees. I'm sure you guys know what noise that is. And we could hear that noise too when the wind was blowing. But it sure hell did not sound like anybody was talking. And I said to my wife, This is very strange. This is very ominous. What is going on? She didn't know, she didn't have an answer. She was very dumbfounded, completely baffled of the sound. But as we continued to walk, the sounds came closer and closer and closer. We could hear them very clearly, but it was muffled still, but they were kind of loud. But you could not hear what they were saying. That was the strange part. You could just hear a group of people talking, but not what they were talking about. They were close, but yet far. It's a little hard to describe, but it's the best I can do. My wife kept looking at me and said, Can you still hear it? I was like, yes, I hear it all right. She asked me, what do you think it is? I only had one answer. Parallel universe. That or a glitch. She is not one that believes in glitch in the matrix or parallel universes or stuff like that. But at that moment, she could not rule it out. She just shrugged her shoulders and said, maybe. I've heard ghosts before, but nothing like that. Then all of a sudden, the sun began to come down, and we said we went on home. We didn't want to be there anymore. The noises stopped after a while. To this day, we still don't know what the hell those noises were. Now, the next story I want to tell is something about myself. Have you ever looked in the mirror and thought, what the hell am I looking at? But not in a you hate yourself kind of way, but like it's not you're looking at. It is you, but it's not you. Know what I mean? It's like you're in a different body. I've had that feeling many times. I have also talked to my wife about it, so she knows it. But still, it's hard to explain. When you look yourself in the mirror, you know you're looking at you. But sometimes I can't help but wonder if this really is me. Because I can look at my hair and be like, I didn't have this hair. It wasn't like this. Or my face, it's like, wasn't like that. Then I get confused and I'm like, oh, was it? Somehow, sometimes I just don't know. I'm pretty sure some of you had that feeling before. And I know it's normal to have the feeling of you don't know that some people don't like themselves, but that's not the case here. I like myself a lot, but just sometimes when I look in the mirror, I get this weird feeling. It's very hard to describe, but the best way to describe it is you're looking at you, but it's not you. I heard a similar story just the other day that a girl woke up in her bed and she felt like something were off with herself. Like it was like her body and her appearance and stuff would change. She looked at her hands. It was like, is this my hands? Then she went to look in the mirror to see if it really were her. But what she saw was something completely, entirely different. She saw a man a young man, the same age as herself, looked completely confused. She reached, just before she looked in the mirror, she reached for her toothbrush. And then she looked in the mirror. And the boy was holding his toothbrush. And his eyes were wide open, just as hers. They just stared at each other, and she could see, and probably he could too, that the background in the mirror was completely different. She turned away and then looked back, and it was gone. But just for that moment, she saw something, maybe from another world. So I know that people can relate to the feeling I'm trying to describe, or that I'm talking about. But, yeah. Alright. The next story I want to tell is, I'm pretty sure that the most of you can relate to. I have memories of stuff that hasn't happened. I have memories of events that happened the same time and something else, so the timeline doesn't add up. And there's periods of time where I don't remember anything. I know I've heard that it's common, but it's still pretty weird because I've heard stories about people remembering from way back. But me, I can barely remember anything from my teenage days or before that. But some parts I can. I have had conversations with my wife I never had. I can remember things that never happened. I can ask her about something and she's like, "No, you never said that," or "We never talked about that." But the other way around, I can't drink a lot of coffee, but sometimes I can drink a little, so sometimes I want something, so I can sit on the couch and be like, and thinking, only thinking, I wonder if there's any coffee on the coffee can. And she can look at me and just say, "Well, you can try and grab it and see if there's any on." And I will just be staring at her and be like, how the frick did you know that? That had happened many times. Not just with coffee, but with food too. I can think about something and she would answer me without I ever say anything. I can think about, "I really want pizza," and then she can say, "Oh, I really want pizza too. Now I'm getting hungry." And I'm like, "How did you know I was thinking about pizza?" "But you just said it." And I'm like, "No, I didn't say a damn word." This happened quite frequently, actually. It's very weird and it's pretty darn cool, I won't be lying. And I know it's normal to not remember your past, but still, it's like I can remember a bunch of stuff happening at the exact same time on the same period of time, but it doesn't add up. I don't know how to describe it. I just remember a lot of stuff from the same time period, or the same, when I was the same age. Maybe around 12 or 13. I can't even speak. It's where I remember most stuff, but it doesn't add up in the timeline. I don't know what to say. And I try to say to my wife sometimes that we had a conversation or we were talking about stuff and she would not believe me. She'd say, no, we didn't talk about that. Maybe you thought about it. Yeah, I thought about it. And then I opened my mouth and talked about it. But no, apparently I didn't. We even had an argument, and she couldn't remember it. I tried to talk to her and say, man, I hate when we argue. And she would be like, yeah, I hate when we argue too, but what are you talking about? Last night and stuff. She was like, well, I remember we were talking, but not arguing. Were we having a disagreement? I don't remember. I think I would remember. She just said and laughed. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I live in a different world. Or maybe I lived in a different worlds. I firmly believe in parallel universes, as you know, the multiverse, and glitch in the Matrix. Well, I think that was all I had for today. And thank you so much for listening. It feels so good to be back and just come out with all the stuff I had. I still have some stories because a lot of stuff happened. But for now, I think that was just it. So, yeah. If you want more videos, then please help my channel grow. Leave a comment, leave a like, and please subscribe. It will mean so much to me. So yeah, take care guys, and see you out there. Bye bye.